Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ, as always, because I haven't been abducted by aliens yet, and today we're going to be talking about the third game show in the last week, that being the Xbox Showcase, which, in my opinion, is probably the best one out of the lot. But let's just jump right into it. Elder Scrolls Online DLC, or expansion, or update. Pardon me, don't care. No offense. Fallout 76 update. Again, not really interested, though this one gets bonus points because it's got a funny trailer, because I like the 1950s aesthetic. Update for Age of Mythology. Don't know, never played it, not particularly interested, but that is just me. Continuing forth, Sea of Thieves update. Get some bonus points again because it was a bit funnier, as you can see in the background. Indiana Jones DLC. I've never played the Indiana Jones game, and Indiana Jones as a character has never really been my thing. Like I've never had like an attachment or relation to him. I was more of a Star Wars kid, I suppose. But yeah, good for those that like that game. I might play it one day, who knows. Mundang Two Hearts, a action stealth game that looks very Korean. I have no other really words for it because I don't really know and I'm not particularly interested. Animo, Genshin plus Wuthering Waves plus Palworld. That very colourful. Not particularly interested. As you can tell, by the way, the beginning of the video is the stuff that I'm not particularly interested in. If that weren't obvious already. Though some of the it gets progressively more interesting to me before we actually reach the interesting stuff for me. Planet of Lana 2. I've never heard of this series. Never played the first game. But this one gets bonus points again because it is very visually appealing. Reminds me a lot of like Gris, Inside, what's the other one? Limbo. It all looks similar to those, though with obviously a lot more kinder looking colours in comparison to like Inside and Limbo. Outer Worlds 2. Haven't played the first game. Maybe I will one day. It just didn't interest me, no offence. I think it's kind of hilarious though that this game is like, man, capitalism bad, and apparently it's 80 quid. It's charging £80 for the release. But the gameplay looks pretty neat. I like a lot of the weird wacky weapons, like the one that it looked cool, right? Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. Never played any of the Plague Tale games. I think there's multiple games. I remember seeing one of them on Game Pass. But this is a bit more interesting, maybe. I don't know, maybe I probably would have put Outer Worlds 2 above this, but hey ho, what can you do? Aphelion. It looks visually really cool. Looks to be some sort of adventure game. If I remember rightly, the description for the trailer said, you're trying to find your lost ship crewmate after you crashed on some planet, which, pretty neat. Now, High on Life 2. I have a bit of a history with this game. The first game. I have played High on Life, and it was the most miserable experience I've ever had in my life. The gameplay was pretty solid, pretty standard, but it was unbearably unfunny. I don't think I laughed once outside of Jack Black showing up at the end of the game. Spoilers for High on Life, by the way. But thankfully, Justin Roiland is not involved in this game. So not only is the stupid Morty gun not here, but maybe the humour will be better. I will be playing it just to continue my hatred for this series. But with High on Life finished and discussed, we move on to the stuff that actually interested me. Actually pretty quickly this time, unlike the last two videos I've done. Xbox handheld. Am I actually interested in the Xbox handheld? No, not really. But Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong. There's more gameplay footage, isn't it? Oh, Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah. I mean, the Xbox handheld looks pretty neat. It's kind of made the Steam Deck irrelevant because you can play Steam games on the Xbox handheld, and it's got the power of an Xbox apparently. But Silksong releases on this console day one, meaning it's winter this year. Solo leveling game. Am I actually interested in it? No. Did it make me cackle like a witch when I saw it? Of course it did. Aura farming at its finest. Sleeping leveling, maybe. Aura leveling? All of those repeated jokes that, to me, are still kind of funny. But, I mean, as a game, it looks okay, surprisingly, and has 4-player co-op. Sure. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, the launch trailer. Michelangelo in a Tony Hawk game is such a perfect fit. I don't think that could ever actually happen. I've never played a Tony Hawk game before. I was more of a Skate 3 kid. But yeah, looks actually pretty solid. Not bad. And, well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that none other than the illustrious... What is it going to show? The illustrious Doom guy from the hit game Doom Eternal and Doom Dark Ages is in this game. The Blood of the Dawnwalker, or Blood of Dawnwalker, looks pretty solid. It reminds me a bit of like The Witcher 3, which is another game I haven't played that is on my to play list though. Looks pretty cool. I mean, playing as a sort of knight. He's not a knight, he's like, I don't know, using a sword and using vampire powers at the same time. That looks pretty cool. Sort of mildly intrigued by it. Speaking of games I'm mildly intrigued by, Chronos The New Dawn. This looks a lot like Dead Space. Like, really, really looks like Dead Space. I think the guys that are making this made the Callisto Protocol, which is really, really like Dead Space as well. But this one looks even more like Dead Space than the Callisto Protocol did. In terms, it just looks more like Dead Space, in my opinion. And I think that looks really cool. I'm a sucker for horror games, even though I'm a complete wuss. I'll check it out, probably. Grounded 2. Now, I have played the first Grounded. Only a bit. Not a lot. But I did play it when around like maybe 2 months after it came out. It was a pretty fine game. Survival games aren't really my thing, per se. But I really, really like the idea of, being shrunken down into a giant garden fighting giant spiders and bugs and stuff. I think that's a really cool idea for a game, and I'm glad that it's actually getting a sequel, because then it can expand on things. And yeah, cool. Grounded 2. New game from Game Freak. And before you say it, yes, the trailer is lagging. The trailer for this game was lagging. Does it look cool? Yeah, it looks a bit like a Souls knockoff. It looks like a Souls knockoff. And it's made by Game Freak, which means I don't have high hopes for its performance. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has still scarred my mind ever since I first played it. But yeah, looks actually as a game quite cool, minus the trailer lagging. Ninja Gaiden 4. I have never played a Ninja Gaiden game. I am planning to play a Ninja Gaiden game. And fun fact, I didn't even know this was a trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4 until they showed the funny ninja man who is in the other Ninja Gaidens. I believe his name is Ryu. I think. Yeah, that fella. It looks really cool. Like, gameplay-wise, this game looks really awesome. It's encouraged me to go play the Ninja Gaiden games that are on Game Pass right now. I should also preface that this entire thing has come from someone who is an Xbox person. I have an Xbox Series X, and I really, really like a lot of Xbox's quality stuff right now. That doesn't make sense. Anyways, Gears of War Reloaded. I've never played Gears of War. I just went on about how I've been an Xbox guy, but I never played Gears of War. Just never did. Don't know why. Didn't really interest me. But this game looks great. It's a remaster of the first game, and it's on all platforms, including PlayStation when it was originally exclusive. It's got cross-platform play and cross-progression, which is great. This gives the opportunity for more people to play this game, which I think is a net positive. Super Meat Boy 3D. Now, I've played the first Super Meat Boy. It was infuriating. I despised every minute of my being when I was playing Super Meat Boy. But this looks really cool. Maybe I'll throw my hand into the ring. I never finished the first Super Meat Boy, or the original Super Meat Boy, but this looks as infuriating and as difficult as the first game. And if you're curious, I didn't finish the first game. Well, I say the first game. There was other games past Super Meat Boy. It looks as difficult as the original, and the reason I never finished the original was because it was that difficult. Moving forward. At Fate's End. This game intrigues me. I've never played Spiritfarer, which are the same... the guys that made Spiritfarer, is that how you say it? Are making this. I've never played Spiritfarer, But this game looks really, really cool, visually especially. This looks absolutely gorgeous in a way that I can't explain. Weirdly, it looks a bit like Ruby? I don't know how to explain it. It's obviously not the same animation style, right? But the arts, the aesthetics of the game look a bit like Ruby. But it looks really cool. I'm interested, and I will be there. Clockwork Revolution. This is a game I've been a bit interested in since its first reveal. Reminded me a bit of Bioshock in the first couple trailers. Now it looks to be a bit more like Fallout 4 gameplay-wise. The Clockwork sort of aesthetics, the steampunk aesthetics are really cool to me. And the trailer, although long, very long, why was it 5 minutes long? Although long, has all this cool stuff about shifting time and going back in time to change the future or the present. And I think that's a really awesome idea for a game. Like the idea that your choices in the story or other stuff can then proceed to affect the entire world in past and present is really cool. And here, like in this shot where they show like Roman civilization, Greek civilization, and then a third civilization that I don't know the name of. I think this is really cool. I think the idea of messing around with time, the gameplay looks really solid. Like that shotgun that he just used looks awesome, and it seems to be an RPG. I think like a action RPG, because at the start of the trailer they had like character creator and stuff. So yeah, looks pretty great. Very interested. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. We're going straight from Black Ops 6 to 7. You got my attention. And it's a direct sequel to Black Ops 2, which is the game that I grew up with and love with all of my heart, and is the reason that I don't pay for them usually, but I usually watch people. I like zombies, by the way. I really like zombies. It's the only reason I'm still holding on to this franchise. So, and there is zombies in this. Looks like Transit's coming back, according to speculations, rumors, and blah blah blah. We are continuing the Dark Ether storyline, which I'm not too keen on, but this is a direct sequel to Black Ops 2, my favorite COD game of all time, and Raul Menendez is alive. I don't think he's alive because there's stuff in like the promotional website saying, oh, there's a guy that controls your fears. So I think this is David hallucinating and seeing Menendez, because that guy put a lot of trauma on that guy, just a small amount. But yeah, Black Ops 7, I'll wait and see. This is more of a wait and see one. Also, 9 Inch Nails in trailer, thumbs up from me. There are no ghosts at the Grand. This game looks funky, awesome, visually lovely, although the animations are a bit janky. I really like the concept of this game being like a Power Wash Simulator-esque renovation game. It's very British as well. It's got a lot of British sense of humour. A lot of the characters in it have British accents. It's also got reggae music. It's not reggae music, like soul, reggae, funky music. Also, the music for this trailer was great. But yeah, this seems to be like, at first it showed it off as like renovation game. Also, Leon S. Kennedy right there. Renovation game, spray stuff, clean the bookshelves and stuff. But it's also a paranormal investigation game. For some reason, I did not expect that whatsoever. Why are we looking into the occult? Why are we looking into Cthulhu and stuff? Like, huh? Why have we got Lovecraftian horror in my Power Wash Simulator home renovation game? Like, the concept is funny and odd enough. There's also a talking cat. Sure. The concept for this game is cool and interesting, and I really want to play this. This looks fantastic. I have no idea who the developers for it are. I didn't look up who it was before this, but this game looks really interesting. One of the highlights for me, as in highlights that are like one of the original highlights, weren't like a sequel or something. Speaking of sequels and remakes, Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox. Finally. Thank God. I've wanted to play FF7's remake so badly. Ignoring part 2 completely. Just the first one. I wanted to play part 1 so badly. It's coming to Xbox this winter. This is a great step forward. This is awesome. More people need to play this franchise. I'm glad that's happening. Speaking of more Final Fantasy 16! Finally! Another game that I've wanted to play so badly, and I know it came out on PC, but I wanted to see it on I have quite a large television, and I wanted to see some of the amazing graphics for this game on a big screen. Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox. I was ecstatic. Yeah, I was ecstatic enough as is, right? Because it's Final Fantasy 16. I really want to get into this series properly. I know 16 is probably a weird choice for a first game, but I don't think any of these games are particularly connected outside of, certain references or stuff. I don't know much about Final Fantasy, but 16 really intrigues me, and I really want to play it. So imagine my excitement when they said at the end of the trailer, oh yeah, by the way, guys, it's available today. Now. Right now. What? What do you mean now? What? Incredible. Genuinely fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Keeper, a new game from the developers of Psychonauts. They got really fun games. They're really trippy. I really like Psychonauts 1 and 2. And this game is going to go down in the history books for having one of the most unique protagonists ever. A walking lighthouse. You are playing as a lighthouse, with its lamp being its eye. It even has eyebrows for some reason. This game looks lovely. Visually fantastic. Colourful as all hell. This game looks great. This is the sort of stuff I'm looking for, like weird. I'm a sucker for, new sequel, new remake, blah, blah, blah. You'll see that in a minute. But this game looks lovely, like so colourful and vibrant, and I can't. Even if it's just simple, like, quote unquote, walking simulator, or like a puzzle game, this looks so lovely and creative, and who would have thought of a lighthouse as a protagonist? Now, I mentioned liking remakes. Yeah, the Persona 4 remake is real. I can't believe it. You've got no idea how excited I was to see this. We all knew it was coming, right? Because of all the stuff with, the voice actors of the original accidentally, quote-unquote, leaking it. This is, the most teaser trailer to ever tease a trailer. They actually show us, they show us 5 seconds, 10 seconds max of Yu Narukami running around Inaba, but that's enough for me. I am so happy that this is real and exists. When they first showed it, tears down my eyes. I was that excited. And the statement that they put out afterwards about how it's going to be surprising for new and old time fans, you got me interested. And I hope the surprise isn't that they just put Golden's content behind a 30 quid paywall like they did for Episode Aegis and Persona 3 Reload. But yeah, this was my favourite reveal of the show, as short and as small as it was. It was they were just here, take it, you already know about it, here you go. But yeah, I'm excited beyond belief for Persona 4 Revival. Great name, by the way. I thought it was going to be Rewind or something, TV. It would be TV related. I don't know why I never thought of Revival. But yeah, this was by far my favourite reveal of the show, and I think the show as a whole was absolutely fantastic, without a shadow of a doubt. There's obviously a few stinkers, as always, but this was fantastic, in my opinion. And with that said, that concludes the video, and rounds up this week of lots of reveals. I hope you've enjoyed, and always let me know in the comments on how I can improve on my videos. Hope you have a good evening, day, good night, yeah. Evening, afternoon, morning, whatever. And stay safe, and look forward to the next one.